Kia ora koutou. No mai aere mai. I'm Kiritahi Furman and welcome to our Papakainga Journey, the podcast. It's a journey where I share with you how we started our Papakainga on our awatupua, all the ins and the outs, what we did, and our vision simply to bring our whānau home. Welcome to episode 2. So now that you've got your land, what do you do? Now I'm going to try something different. Many podcasts, are done via video, and yes, I do want to do this down the track. In fact, I'll be setting up in my most favourite place, my tunnel house, and so I'm looking forward to that soon. But as we start to get to know each other, I want to get you away from your screen just for a bit and encourage you to sit down and listen a taringa. I love podcasts, absolutely, particularly when I'm in the car. I love to fill my mind with amazing kai kōrero from all over the world. And I just listen, soak it all in. So, I want you to are taringa mai. And geez, if we were always glued to the screen, it so encourages our kids and our moko to do the same. Now, I know being on screen is the way of the world, Anna, but it sometimes just gets too much, eh? And so that being said, let's get back to our journey. Now that we knew we owned our whenua, not just on my own this time, we all sat down to visualising as a whānau, to dreaming, putting all our wish list stuff out there in the open. We compiled a vision board and we looked through magazines like, the Home and Garden series. Oh, I love those. Those mags are amazing. And watched all of the Kainga Whenua series on TV, and we actually still do on Māori television. It helped give inspiration, and it still does, so thank you so much, Pio. Importantly too, we went and visited other Papakainga builds. And here, I want to mi'i out to our makoare whānau and ka ununu, ka nui te aro aki a koutou. Such a beautiful and giving whānau. And that's what's important. Talk to whānau who have actually created a papakainga. Don't feel wakamaa to ask them pātai. Some will say yes, and some will say no. And they have their real reasons why. Most times, they're still trying to figure things out, eh? Understand this whole process. You may think we've cracked it, but it's not as easy as you think. Oh, kaore. At our beginning stages, when I had told our people that we were successful in government funding, I was asked by someone if they could take a look at our finance application and use the template. Well, that question and the request was way too premature. Why? Because Papakainga builds are really different, for everyone. And an application is not a kind of cookie-cutter, a one-size-fits-all take. It needs real planning, where you must put in the time and have a plan. And I know we've got big hearts, and many, many, many times we've hooked up our whānau to help them get to the next step. In a Papakainga build, though, e te whānau, in a Papakainga sense, when it comes to the numbers, money, plans, it's not the case. Now, I actually know this because that's what I did. At the very, very beginning, I asked the same question to a friend who had set up their Papakainga. And I'd heard about a funding pool. It was actually closing in a couple of days. And I just wanted to get the application in. Now, the template was sent absolutely to me. But I didn't understand a word it said. Neither the PVAT or the CTC Excel spreadsheet and how it was put together. CTC incidentally means cost to complete. PVAT, well, this highlights everything your build will cost. The infrastructure and the housing supply. Yeah, big mai. But let's park that here too, for another episode, because this is where we get to drill down on the total project cost, the details, the grant funding details, your infrastructure costs, for example, the design, the consents, and the housing supply costs. So it's really entailed, and you need to get someone in to manage that. Someone who's experienced, eh? And who's done this all before. Someone who knows numbers, who knows how to read and create Excel spreadsheets, and really importantly, how to explain it to you and bring you all along. Because remember, it's your papakainga. The last thing your papakainga build needs is a genius with numbers who creates a document that looks flash, for the banks and for funders, but you still can't understand it. So that's important, okay? You need to know how to kōrero when you're in a hui, talking with people that matter, because you've got to be koi. That's happened to us. It's not a nice space to be in. Why? Because this is your papakainga, and you need to know everything about it. That's why I was like a piripawa to the team we've been working with, and why we've invested time and money undertaking, a practical project management program at Victoria University, for example. They run a really, really, really fantastic course. Now, back to sending off that application. You can guess what happened, eh? Yeah, you can guess. Our application dive bombed. Why? Because we weren't ready. We hadn't done the work. We hadn't sourced professional help and upskilled ourselves. So we talked, we reassessed what we could at least do ourselves to get ourselves ready. So we continued to kōrero, to research and gather information. And right at this time too, we needed to talk about our governance structure, because that's important. And who would be living on our papakainga? Our whānau, of course. So our journey of buying the whenua made it so much easier for us, because we owned the whenua. Woody, myself, Mauriora and Pikitiora and Panatai, we set up an Au Whenua Trust, where we as a whānau are the governance board. We have manamotu ake. We have our tino rangatiratanga. Also, it made our life so much easier. And as a whānau, we really needed to knuckle down and to take governance seriously, to work together, to plan together, to maʻitai through all the highs and the lows. And I also, had to look at myself. I'd been groomed to lead at such an early age from a little kid from our kuia and my mum. And, as a kid, I wasn't the one playing around on the marae with all the rest of my cousins, kaore. During that time, I had to sit at all our hui, had to sit next to our kuia, listen to all the kōrero, learn and listen some more. What that meant for me was leading through inclusion. And us all getting on and getting things done. And yes, I do lead our papakainga still, but I lead together with my whānau. After 5 years of hard ma'i, our papakainga journey has brought us all together. And man, when we're on, and that's really important. We needed to be equal, where we all made decisions, collectively. So we still do that to this day. No decision is made solely by me. Whatever is done, we all make the decision together. We talk it through. We make sure it's part of our master plan. We also keep in our lanes too and work to our strengths. And we keep each other, very importantly, accountable. I can't say it enough. We couldn't have egos on our build, on our whenua. Egos get in the way and it halts progress. And yes, it's not all a bunch of roses every day. Sometimes, holy moly, we do fall down. Sometimes we've had good hoo-has. Where we've had to pull each other up and say, look, pull your head in. Let's keep going. But mostly that happens because we're just tired and we need a break. And this is the time where you need to take time out, even if it's for a day. And we do this all the time. And on our papakainga, our maramataka and the taiao define also how we ma'i as a social service, as a kura taiao, because yes, we do that too. And so during the summer, We're hard out eco-sourcing seed and harvesting, and in spring we're planting and sowing seed, and in autumn we're in the tunnel houses, so our taiao defines what we do. You're probably wondering, Kiritai, why are you not just focusing on housing? You know, the structures. Well, papakainga is not just about four walls and a ceiling. Papakainga is holistic. It's about the mara, being self-sustainable. As a whānau, we'd been living this way since we were kids, so preserving our kai, hunting and culling our kai is a rule of thumb for us. The same, with the non-negotiables, amara. That's another episode too, okay? It's my chocolate, my happy place. And I'll tell you, and I'll show you, and guide you how to set up from scratch. But okay, let's just step back, because I don't want to race ahead. Now, we still had no money, but we didn't care, because we knew it would come. The priority was to really establish our ika. That meant being on our whenua as much as possible. So what you see today is totally different to how it was when we purchased the whenua. Back then, it was solely used for stock, sheep and cattle, hay bales in the summer. It was a blank canvas for us. And so step one for us was landscaping. Why? Because this is what we could do, what we could control. Now, the whenua was farmland. Lots of potholes, sheep and cattle, tutai, broken up concrete bricks, and that were used to keep away mud puddles. Fast forward to today, I realised that this was an old school style Reno mattress for stormwater. Stormwater protection. My father-in-law, John Furman, was a very learned man. And what he did then to stop stormwater or excess water piling up on the whenua was and is the same style template we were encouraged to do from our well-paid, highly paid infrastructure engineers for our papakainga build. So yeah, we had a lot of preparatory mai to get us to do, to the next step. And we needed to do it ourselves to really feel our ika and actually to save money, because we didn't have any anyway. Now I come across this thinking all the time. The thinking that your first step should be to find government funding, and that it's as simple as filling out an application and voila, it's going to set you up quick. Well, my dear friend, that's actually not the case. It wasn't the case for us. And if you've heard different and experienced different, oh, I'm so happy for you all, for you and your wānau, and your children and your moko and their moko. That's El Dorado. That's where you've cracked it. I love hearing those three kupu, you've cracked it. When some of our ware turned up on our papakainga this year, I remember my nephew saying to me, "Oh, wicked Auntie Hohoi, you've cracked it." And all I could say was, "Thank you, Neff. It's been a big job. It's gonna get bigger in every way. And we've still got so much more to do." And here is where I want you to take a moment and think. Are you ready? Are you ready to share with each other? Work with each other? Ma'itai, manakitia te wānau katoa. In every way, the mara, the lawns, sharing kai, sharing kōrero, giving and not counting the cost. I want to ask you, are you ready to commit to planting, preserving, saving seed, creating your seed bank, keeping your papakainga safe from addictions and the kino together? Oh, good God, I could share so much more about this, but let's park that here too, eh? Back to my question, are you ready to share and be selfless? Because our world is different now, and we've got to change that. Have a good think, and share this wakaaro with your children, with their partners, with friends and wānau that come to visit. You know what I mean, eh? I know you've seen it or experienced it, where, there's mai, it's piling up and piling up on the papakainga, in the mata, the lawns, the lawns need mowing, the weeds need to be pulled, seeds need to be sown, and oh, you're the only one doing it. All the while, our whānau show up and you got to make them a cup of tea. Of course, you've made them a cup of tea. We're okay. But they're still sitting there shooting the breeze, watching you do the mai. Oh, yeah, nah. Number one rule for us is everyone has to have skin in the game. We must do the mai every day. Ano oki, I know we're not all psychic, but when you come to someone's ware, bring something or offer to help them when you see them doing the mai, because their time is precious, and so is yours. Okay, I'll leave that there. I wanted to leave you a food for thought. So, I want to talk about ducks. Ana, raki. We had to line up all the ducks and then pop them off one at a time. Now, I know this may be an unusual analogy for you, but it made sense for us. So back to lining up these ducks. While my husband, Moriora and Pikitiora, Panatai, were in the thick of landscaping, I was doing the research, finding out who we needed to talk to about putting up a ware on the papakainga. First of all, we just wanted one, just to start us off. Something didn't have to be flash, but something we could afford. Wow, oh my gosh, now we have 13, and we've created a papakainga to be more of a marae with the same tikanga and the same values, and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. We connected with Te Puni Kōkiri back then, who were running the educational wānanga, if you can remember, around the motu, all around housing and what you needed to do. I had sat in on one, and some were held on our marae, but Kaitwaiki, I loved the inspiration, the kōrero that was shared, and I could see the hope in the eyes of our people. And this, in fact, actually, was where our first roadblock came in. If we wanted to build, we had to tick off several things, even before being considered. Kotai, number one, land. Did we have it? Number two, did we have a deposit? Number three, did we have good credibility? Well, we had the first, we had the land, but we didn't have a deposit, and neither was my credit history perfect back then. In fact, it was shot about 5 years prior, and I had to work my backside off to clear it. Thank God. Oh, thank God it's all perfect now. But it took a lot of lobbying the debt agencies and having enough income to pay back debt. I'd incurred because of the stupid past business decisions I'd made. Now, this is serious. If you're even a week overdue with your power bill, a phone bill, did you know that this is all stacked? And when you go for a loan, the credit agency has access to all of this. And if they see that there's a pattern where you're behind even in a phone bill in the past, they will not give you anything. If I knew then what I know now, I would never have been in such a crippling situation. It's something I share openly with my kids, and I will with my moko. For example, when thinking about buying something, is it a need or a want? Advice from my frugal husband. So clearing debt and having enough pūtea for a deposit was a big step for us. I took on jobs at the meatworks in the packing room to pay off my debt. I love wearing, the white gumboots and the overalls and seeing Uncle Cappy, Wano, and OG at the works, Imlay and Wanganui, all our ratana pa aunties and uncles and cousins and my mates. It was Imlay that helped me out of the pickle. And so, this was one duck we had to knock off. So these home ownership wānanga were great value in terms of the information that they were sharing. It absolutely helped us understand what we needed to do, the first steps. Now, the Kainga Whenua Home Loan Scheme too is great value. So check these out, please, because, that's where you can get information. Now, you may have also gone through these wānanga and they were helpful. Anō oki, this might have been the time where you also got stuck in the mud because of your past or current credibility or not having a deposit. I hope, my friend, it hasn't put a halt on your dream altogether. If so, pick it up. Pick it back up again. I'll keep sharing what we did. Although I had cleared my bad credit, I knew that a bank wasn't going to take us seriously, but it would with a legal entity, which is why we really got serious with our aspirations for Kimi Order Trust. We needed to grow our capability and our capacity to serve our community. So we had set up our trust back in 2012 to focus on supporting our women and children, particularly affected by suicide, sexual and domestic violence. We were first supported, actually, with a tiny space at Auntie Tia Uia Abraham's ware in Bell Street in Wanganui. This is where the YWCA had also set up an office, and it was a wonderful first connection because the manager back then, Fee Ali, beautiful woman, helped us to become Oscar registered with the Ministry of Social Development. This meant that we were actually in the system with MSD. Now, the Oscar program is a concept that supports social services like us, we were new, to run after school care, holiday camps during the holidays. And Fee, well, she helped us set up our policy manual that showed us all the rules when dealing with government agencies, and particularly MSD. So thank you, Fee, wherever you are in the world. This was really amazing because we cut our teeth with the Oscar program and continue to run our wānanga even now during the school holidays. Wow. All of our wānanga are focused on our taiao and our papakainga. So in this process, we had to undertake our audits and annual reviews each year as a charitable trust, but because we also became that. Then the second year, we became a registered charity. Now, I'm telling you this because becoming a charity opened up more doors for us, and having annual finance reports that showed we were growing slowly and steady helped show more funders that we had more skin in the game, lining up our ducks. Also, we were facilitating suicide prevention programs around the motu, and our name was getting out there. And I was able to lobby more and more government agencies for support, to provide us with not just pūtea, but technical advice around how to run a successful social service, and also how to receive and manage funds. So as we grew, agencies and services would ask us to run our Kimi Order programs for their hapori, and we collaborated for excellence. Wow. We worked both in the North and South Island, and we met more and more like-minded people, all wanting to help our people, our Māori, thrive. Ngā Kete Mātauranga Pounamu in the Deep South supported us. They were one of those amazing organisations. Thank you, Raniera, Leoma Tawaroa, Tracy Tartwell Wright. In the North Island, we joined forces with Te Rau Matatini back then. Now it's actually called Te Rau Order. And my tuakana Marama Parore enabled us. She helped us back then. And that's where our connection too with our makoare wānau at Te Hauke grew. And now my dear friends Zach and Georgina have built a thriving papakainga for their wānau. That's just amazing. I remember when Zach took us up to the bare whenua his home is on now, and he told us plain and clearly that he would be building a papakainga to bring his wānau home. He never wavered. That's ka'a. And so you can see, that we went through more lining up of our ducks. Establishing your papakainga is all about lining up your ducks. There's so much more to just, now that you've got your whenua, you're just going to chuck a ware on there, kaore. There's the whole ware tapawa concept. So throughout all this engaging, all this connecting, partnering for excellence with others, we still had no water supply, no power supply. So therefore, as you can imagine, no access to warepaku. We used a little portable warepaku I'd bought online, and my cousin today, Paina, his pop-up caravan I'd bought, that we used for shelter from the sun and from the rain when we were developing and landscaping. and taking down all the fences. And, oh, wow, I reckon my cousin, God rest his soul, would be so very impressed to know that his pop-up caravan was our first ever wakaruruo on the Papakainga. And his daughter helped us with our whenua Māori grant. Oh, wow. I gifted it actually to a tāne that needed a home a few years back, and now we have the karawene, something a bit more with bells and whistles that helps us to travel them all to an eco source as a part of our Papakainga nursery. Phew, wicked, eh? So you can see there's lots of backstory here to share, and that's important. And within our Papakainga journey, I've shared our why, our governance structure, that we're an whenua trust, a charitable trust and a registered charity, our partnership with others and getting the right team on side, talking about the hard stuff, money and clearing any debt so you can go to the bank and continue to visualize. And yeah, it's been a big story. Hey, it's been a big story. So let's leave it here. It's been a pleasure being with you today. Lots to think about because in the next episode, I'll be joined by Mere Wanurere of Ngā Pairangi. She's from here in Wanganui. She brings years of experience in navigating whenua Māori. She'll help you identify where you sit as an owner, a beneficiary, and how you can access your true succession. That's all in episode 3, where I'll also share towards the end of it what a feasibility study is, as promised. Keep going, e te wānau, don't stop. Have all of our moko and their moko in mind. We're doing this all for them. And please share this podcast. It's our gift to you and your wānau. Nō reira, mā te ariki koutou e manaaki. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.